Oh. Hey, Facebook Live. That's silly. See who's coming in tonight. Are you a survivor? Hey, if you coming in, say hey, type in the screen, hey. Welcome to Sex the Story Behind Pleasure. Oh, my life was so... I'm always singing. So if you come on, I'm always singing, y'all. So, yeah, we got some singing and dancers on the broadcast.
Come on in.
Come on, survivors. Welcome to Sex the Story Behind the Pleasure. I'm a survivor. I'm not gonna give up. I'm not gonna stop. I'm going hard. I'm a survivor. I'm gonna make it. I'm a survivor. I always sing. You sound horrible, probably.
You know, I be thinking I can sing. They be coming out of my spirit.
I'm a survivor. I'm gonna make it. I'm a survivor. Keep on surviving. Nothing without you. All right. Well, welcome to Sex, the Story Behind the Pleasure. I am Shamel Jackson, owner of Breaking It Down with C. Jackson, author of Wait. How many survivors we got out here? If you are watching the replay still, what is something you survived? That's Destiny's Child, one of my favorite girl groups. But survivor. Now I have a survivor with me today. Her name is Miss Jessica McCracken. She's an author and dancer for God. And she is a survivor. So April is Child Abuse Prevention Month, and I wanted to have her on as a guest on the broadcast to give her a story about how she survived sexual child abuse. So I'm sure everyone has their story about what they survived. It may not have been sexual child abuse. It may have been something else. It's still significant if you feel there was a struggle for you. You survived. You lived on. You didn't let that hold you back. So maybe you survived today. Maybe you just today was a horrible day for you and you survived it. So I can say that I survived today. I just survived Monday and Tuesday. So we all have our stories. But I'm excited about this broadcast. I'm excited to have her on. And I'm just excited. I'm always excited about the broadcast. So share it, even if you're watching where we're no longer live. Share this broadcast. It's going to be awesome. Always excited about share. And if it's your first time, type a 1 or a heart in the screen. But probably guys don't want to put a heart in the screen. So you can type a 1 if it's your first time coming in and tell us where you are tuning in from. So, yeah. But we're going to go ahead and get into the discussion about sexual child abuse. And I'm going to let Jessica go ahead and start sharing her story. But first, let me talk about, hey, thanks for the hearts and the likes. I want to talk about, there are different types of child abuse. You have mental abuse. You have physical abuse. You have sexual abuse. But this broadcast, we're dealing with sexual abuse. So there are plenty other types, but that's the one we're focusing on tonight. Hey, Lincola. Hey, we're doing great. Thank you for coming in. And so I talked about way back in February, purpose of sex. And one of those purposes were for pleasure. Sex is for pleasure. And I think that, a lot of people know that, but sometimes we have experiences or events that happen to us that doesn't quite make us believe sex is something supposed to be pleasurable, or sometimes our view may change about sex because of that event that happened. And so that's kind of where I want to get into tonight, about how sexual abuse can affect you. And so the first question I want to ask Jessica, well, I want her first to go ahead and talk a little bit about herself before we just jump right into the questions. And so whatever she wants to tell you guys.
Okay, well, like she said, I'm an author, so this is my book, Transparency in the Heavenly Realm. I also dance for God. That is one of my passions. A couple years back, I had lost that passion. I wouldn't say that it was because of child abuse, but it was some things that was going on that really made me lose my place in dance. And I told God, I said, God, use me however you see fit. And dance was one of those things. It was an outlet for me to just release and to get into his presence and allow his glory and his reign and everything that he wanted to release and pour into me, that's where it began. It began at his foot, and I began to worship him, and that's how I began. That's how I became a survivor for today.
All right, awesome. And I just want to, I say this on probably every broadcast. I'm a teacher, so if you're coming in for the first time, you don't know that. And I always have to, even though we hear a word over and over and over again, you really sometimes have to still read the definition or get different definitions of it to get the full meaning of it. So I posted on my page what it means to survive. And so I'm going to read a couple of definitions, and there's one I really like, but I'm going to read probably like two. So one of them is to remain alive or in existence, to live on, to continue to function or prosper. And if you don't know what prosper means, that means to succeed, to continue to flourish. And that's the one I really like. To continue to function or prosper. And then you have the last one I'm going to read is to continue to function or prosper despite.
Woo, yes.
Despite. So whatever comes after despite, whatever comes after this. So you see, the definition doesn't have despite abuse, despite bullying. It doesn't have nothing there. So whatever your despite goes into whatever you want to put there, that's your something that you can survive. So it's unlimited. It's unlimited. And God, y'all, look, I've been making these outlines of broadcast. This right here, I didn't even plan to say this. And also, despite what you did yesterday, despite what happened this morning, despite what happened when you were 5 years old, despite, maybe my daddy wasn't there, despite maybe my mama wasn't there. So it says, if we probably say we're a survivor. Thank you, Candace, for sharing. You probably think, I'm a survivor. Destiny Child is singing all day long, but are you really surviving? Are you really continuing to function or prosper? Are you really doing that? And so before I go off into a whole nother thing, let's get into the first time this happened to Jessica's gonna share how old was she when this abuse happened to her, and what was that initial reaction or thought. And I know that's probably something that you can talk about for forever, but just share quickly with us, how old were you and what was the initial thought reaction when it happened to you as a child?
Well, initially the age was 6, and I can't really say how I felt because it was something new to me. It was something that I wasn't familiar with. So sometimes when you're not familiar with something, you can be afraid to speak about it. You can be shamed,
Mm-hmm.
and you can begin to put yourself in a closet and you hide. So I really answered that. I really just answered that, y'all. But it brought shame. It brought a level of guilt. Like, was it something I did? But I'm a little kid, so it's nothing I did. It's something the person did. Because I can't do anything. A child cannot consent to any form of sex.
Wow. That is good, because even though you were a child when this happened, even as adults, when something bad to us, we tend to think, what did I do? And I know a lot of I've never been married before, but I always hear about people who get married and they get a divorce. So they always want to wonder, what did I do? Or if they have children, they probably think that why did my parents have to get a divorce? Was it my fault? And you start to blame yourself. And like she said, you would go into a closet. And you just go into a closet. So wow, I just, I just couldn't imagine that. So that's why I really want her to come on the broadcast, because some people don't understand the whole sexual child abuse and what is going on through a child's mind, and why it's so difficult to tell someone or not tell someone. So that's what the next thing. How long did it take you to tell someone? How often did you think about telling someone? did you want to tell someone right after it happened? Or, I mean, what was going on in your mind about when I'm going to tell, who I'm going to tell, how should I tell, what are they going to say? So what was what was going on in your mind? You're 6, but what was going on? You had something you knew that should happen or should not happen.
Honestly, if we're just going to be transparent, y'all know I'm transparent. If we're going to be transparent, I wasn't going to tell anyone. I was going to take it to my grave.
Wow.
Honestly, I was not going to say anything. And it's pouring outside, y'all. Ooh, yes, Lord God. Okay.
Wow.
Okay, y'all. Y'all know I'm a runner.
Yes, she's a runner.
Yes. It was something I was going to take to my grave. I was never going to say anything about it. Like I said, I felt guilty. And I think the guilt began to rise up inside of me because of that. Because of the very thing of me saying that I'm not going to say anything. This is our secret. You know, he bribed me with candy, bribed me with toys, took me here, took me there, took me shopping, you know. But to know that that's something that you're doing to a child is wrong. And for you to even still live and still be able to function and not have any guilt in yourself for doing it, that's wrong. That's absolutely wrong. But I was never going to tell anyone, Shamil.
Wow. Because you thought that it was your fault and you thought maybe people would blame you? Is what you're saying? Like you didn't want to tell anybody?
Well, yeah, that plays a part. And the person who actually, because that's really going to answer the question, was my stepdad who molested me. And he was married to my mom. And I was afraid, I didn't want to break up a happy home. But it wasn't really happy.
Right.
You know,
right.
If things like that are going unaware. So it was like, you know, my mom would go to work at night. He would try to sneak me out of my bedroom, do things to me, you know, and I'll go back in my bedroom and I'll be crying. And my brother sometimes would be like, you know, why are you crying? Or I'll be singing, you know, a church song, you know, singing a church song and just crying out to God. And no one knew what was going on with me. No one never knew. I remember times my brother came in the room, Mama, she in here crying again. Why is she crying? And my mom would say, I just would say that I'm just happy that God still has me. I used to write letters to God. I had this angel in my room. I used to write letters to God, put it up under the angel's wings. And I asked my mom, I said, could I do that? Could I write to God? And God answered me, and she said, yes. You can write letters to him, and you can put it up under the wings of the angel. And sometimes, y'all, the letters wouldn't even be there the next morning. I had to ask my mom. I was like, did you take this letter? And she said, no, I didn't take it. I don't know where it went. But I just believe that God started answering my prayers even then. Even when I was a little girl. Wow.
And so I talk about, I teach all the time. But a lot of people don't know, they may know that I teach, but they don't know that I teach in a mental health facility. And so I have seen so many kids come in that have been sexually abused, and it affects their behavior in so many ways. It affects how they act, how they walk, how they talk, all those things. And there is no one behavior that it's several things. Sometimes you get the girls that's promiscuous, and then you get those ones, not only they are promiscuous, they may be out there selling their body. Like, you can be out there promiscuous, not getting paid, but then you have some that are getting paid for, or they may venture off into, depending on probably who they got abused by, they may go off into liking these same sex, or they may be promiscuous with the same sex or the opposite sex, or they may shut down completely, or they may have these certain reservations about people that you may not want to be too close to them, and things like that can affect a child when they're sexually abused. So many things happen. You just never know what's going to happen as a result. Or they may become abusers themselves. That's another one. Another thing that can happen. They become abusers themselves. And so what I was asking Jess, what how did that abuse affect your lifestyle and your view of sex? Because I was saying one of the purposes of sex is for pleasure. It's not supposed to be something that you hate. It's not supposed to be something that you're afraid to do. It's not supposed to be. God did not intend for sex to be that way. And even though, you know, we like to, I was talking about this last night, you know, how do people hear about sex for the first time? And sometimes our parents don't say anything to us because I guess they feel like, I mean, eventually I'm going to hear about it. So it's almost like it's taboo. Don't talk about it. Just don't do it. I mean, like, no, but you know, how did sexual abuse how did it affect your lifestyle and your view of sex?
Well, I always said that I didn't want to have sex until I was married. But with it being such a detrimental act and a detrimental thing that mentally had me unstable for a while, I was promiscuous. I did go off and tap into homosexuality. I did these things because I felt as though, well, this person loved me, and I thought this was love. I thought that if you showed, you know, yourself, or if you give yourself to someone, this is true love. And I was so misguided. And that's really what it was. I was promiscuous.
And if you coming in, thank you for coming in. Go ahead and share with your followers. And you guys feel free to comment. Do you guys know any children that have been sexually abused, and how did they come out of it? Was it how did it end? How did the ending result play out? Did they go? What did they venture off into? Did they go off and, like she said, being promiscuous? Did they become the abuser themselves? Like, how did it affect them? If you guys know people that have done, because I don't. As I said, I work in a mental health facility, so I been exposed to a lot of children that have experienced it. But to know someone personally, that brings on a whole different type of ball game. So you get to, you know, have a better understanding of what's going on. It's just like, okay, some people may not have dealt with things that I've dealt with, or, you know, there's probably somebody watching that's dealt with what something Jessica has dealt with, and you be able to relate and you understand what's going on. And that's a lot of times people don't understand because you never been there. So that's another reason why I want to do the broadcast, because you don't have any idea, even if, and you know, you may be in a sexual abuser that's actually watching this broadcast. I mean, I have no idea who's going to watch this broadcast. I don't know everybody that's watching, and this may even change what you're doing, and that would really be awesome. I was like Janet Jackson, anytime, any place. Wow. Thank you, Candace. And so, yeah, so, you know, you just never know. And so, how Candace Jessica said she was going to take it to her grave. Was that your plan, to take it to your grave, or did you want to tell somebody immediately? Did you want to tell somebody immediately, or did you want to take it to your grave? And, you know, how do people respond? Because, you know, I mean, as a parent, how can you respond? You want to take it to your grave?
Because it's almost like you feel like it's your fault. You know, you feel like it's your fault. Like, well, why didn't I do this? Or why didn't I tell him to stop? Or, you know. Wow. Because it can put you in a mental state where you will lose your mind. If you allow it if you allow this type of
wow.
Okay. But yeah, if you allow this type of abuse to consume you, then you will drown. You will fall. But you have to stand up. You have to stand up and say, and take that authority and say, no, Satan, you cannot take my life. Jesus died that I might have life, and life more abundantly. You have to speak to the root of the thing. Right.
And that Easter just passed. How have you told your mom? Oh, have you told your mom?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, she's told.
Yeah, I told her when I was about to leave too.
And I lost my train of thought. Now I was thinking about I'm 46, so back then we didn't talk about sexual abuse. Yeah, and you know what? And I have to say this about, I can't speak on other races, but I know in a lot of African American communities, it's something may be going on in the family. It doesn't have to be abuse. It could be anything. We like to keep it to ourselves. We're gonna get to your question in a minute, Eric. But we like to keep it to ourselves, and I think that's a problem. That's a whole nother broadcast to talk about how we keep stuff in, because it says confess your faults to one another and you shall be healed. So this whole, we don't need no counselor, we don't need no therapist. Okay, you may not go to a church, but you need to go to some type of, once you release that information, you're gonna need counseling, because you don't have the ability to, especially as a child, even as an adult, you don't have the ability to handle something like that on your own, regardless of whatever you're going through. But you want to go ahead and answer Erica's question? What was her reaction?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and answer it. I believe initially it was unbelief. It was kind of like, how? Because I was always around you. How did something like that snip up under my nose? How did I not see it, or how did I not catch on to it? And then he also went on to say that I would take a lie detector test. So just put yourself in her shoes. Somebody telling you that, oh well, it may have you kind of questionable. Like, okay, well, let's take a lie detector test, because if you're lying, it's gonna say you lied. And if you're honest, it's gonna say you're honest. But I think that was just a cover up, something to just just say like, oh, I didn't do that. She's lying about that. I take a lie detector test. So I'll do whatever. No, I'll do whatever. I'll do whatever I gotta do, because your child is lying on me. And that was what it was. He tried to cover up his act and to say that he will do something else. But that didn't work. And a lot of times, like I said, I run across a lot of kids, and it's mainly, a lot of times it's a girl, and it's usually the mom's boyfriend or stepdad. And not to say it's not the actual dad, because there are cases where that can happen, but a lot of times I hear it's my mom's boyfriend, my mom's husband, and so then you have that tension between the daughter and the mom, and that's not even how it's supposed to be. So what do you say, because being a parent has got to be one of the hardest jobs out there. So what do you say to a parent and I'm going to kind of touch on 3 different things here. First of all, how do you tell a parent to be proactive? I know that may sound like a weird question, but how does a parent, especially when you're married to someone that's not the child's dad, how is the parent proactive about sexual child abuse? Is there certain things they need to do in order to protect their child from? And I'm not saying it's ever going to be the parent's fault, but however, there are certain things that we not me, but parents can probably do. So some things, you guys know what I'm saying? So some of those things can be avoided. Not to say that's the parents' fault, but there are decisions that we as women make when it comes to, we have children and we date somebody that's not their dad. Mine were men that were close to our family. My mother didn't bring me over. She was trying. So it's just like Candace said, she was trying to be protective of her child. So what do you think, Jessica? Being the child, what do you think? And you're a mom too. And so what are some things you think parents can do to protect their child, or be proactive about it? Well, I don't want to say put cameras in the house or anything
Right.
like that, but, kind of have that open discussion with your child. Tell them the do's and the don'ts, and, don't allow someone to touch you here, or begin to explain to them why. And then I think that will, I'm trying to answer this correctly, and where people will actually get it. But when you tell someone to not allow someone to touch them, or to not be uncovered, you're really saying, that this isn't the right thing to do. And that will open up their ears and their eyes to if they are being sexually abused. Well, mommy, so-and-so did this to me. Is that wrong? Or, you know what I'm saying? Do you understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Because it's hard. Because like you said, it could be somebody that you trust. It could be a family member. It can be your brother, your sister, your cousin. Right. It can be your teacher. So the parent can't be there all the time with the child.
Right.
But you pray and you cover your child and you begin to teach them the do's and the don'ts. And you have to teach them at an early age. It's not too early to talk about sex. We always feel like if we talk about sex, if we open up that discussion, that they're going to go out and do it. That's not necessarily true.
Right.
But if you explain to them, hey, this is an act you do when you're married. And if you're doing it, do not do it. If someone's doing that to you, you need to let me know. You need to let me know now.
Right. And that makes me think, being that I work around children, I will say this to people who are not in the education field or just don't work around children. You want to control what you tell your children at a certain age, but sometimes the world does not allow you to do that. And I was thinking about this last night. The world does not allow you to, I want to teach my children this about sex at this age, but it's so hard to figure, when should I release this information? But you got to start somewhere. You got to start somewhere. And it's sad to say that you have to start earlier than you would want to. But the thing is, if you don't give them I'm not sure what everyone's value system is, but if you don't give them what your values are, somebody else is.
And I also remember, and I didn't mean to cut you off, but I also remember when we went to grounding school and our pastor was telling us that sometimes you may have to draw the picture. You may have to draw it out and give them a visual.
That's for your,
as to what you're talking about, because sometimes they may I don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
I don't know what that is, Mom. But give them a visual, even if you had to use Barbie dolls and explain to them that type of way. Because sometimes we have to go down to their level for them to be able to intake the information that we're trying to pour into them.
Right. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. However you need to break it down, because you got social media, you got TV. It's stuff on TV I don't want to watch. Yeah. And I'm 30-some years old, so I know, I would want to be extra cautious. And you can take, shut this down, tell your children not to do this, and that's what we don't want to do. Don't tell them not do this, not do this, not do this, but you want to explain to them what is going on. And like I said, they're gonna find out. Trust me, they're going to find out. They're gonna go to school. They're gonna be outside. Mm-hmm. So there's only so much you can hide from your child. But that leads me into about, if you're a parent and this had already happened to your child, what is something how should the parent respond? What is a correct way to respond? Because I'm sure God forbid that this happened to your child, but what if it does? How are you going to respond? You won't truly know. How can you respond to that? You never know exactly what you want to do, but at least you can hear from someone who has experienced that, and they would want to know, they would want a certain response from their parent or whoever the adult is. How should they respond to you?
Well, I feel like you should get to the bottom of it and to see what exactly is the root of it. Why did this happen? And to begin to bring in counseling and godly counsel, so you can get the proper help that you need. Because sometimes, that's just not enough. You have to go to God for your healing. And I can say, well, if my mom would have left him, or how would that affect me? How is that going to help me with my life and help me survive? I need God to come down in that. I need Him to help me.
Wow.
So sometimes, you know, we feel like, oh, if our mom respond this way, then that's gonna make me feel better.
That's good, because what if, right, what if your parent or whoever the adult is, guardian is, does not respond that you want them to do? And that's a lot of times what happens. The child gets frustrated. They're like, oh, forget it. I'm not telling anybody else. Nobody's going to believe me. I'm going to do what I want to do. And so now you're still hurting. And life is moving. Years are going by. And you're still dealing with that on the inside. And so a lot of times we want to say, okay, why is this person the way they is? But you don't know their story. You don't know their story, why they're acting the way they act. And that's with anything. And so we just, you know, I was saying, you know, children, their behavior is affected in different ways. So, but you never can say, this is a number one true sign of somebody being sexually abused. But what are some signs? What are some common signs? Hey, Harm, thank you for coming in. So what are some signs? You know, there can be hundreds and thousands of signs, but what are some signs that you think they are, you know, valuable for parents to pay attention to their child, to see, okay, is my child being, you don't never want to think your child is being sexually abused, but you want to pay attention to those signs. While my mom was hurt and disappointed, she didn't respond the way I wanted her to. So, okay, Candace, your mom didn't respond the way she wanted to. So what did you do? Did you completely shut down, or did you go to somewhere else? Since your mom didn't respond the way you wanted her to, did you shut down? Because, you know, it's your mom, or, you know, it's your dad, or it's someone you trust, and you tell them and they reject you, I probably would shut down. You didn't, she said no. You didn't go to anyone else? Make sure I'm answering the question or responding to comments correctly. Fearfulness around certain people is a sign of mistrust. Yes. Yes.
And okay. Thank you, sis.
Yes.
Because y'all, when I say I locked myself in the room, like I would lock myself. My mom was like, "Why is the door locked? I'm trying to get in here. Why is the door locked?"
Okay. Wow. Yeah. That's good.
That's good. Yeah. That's good.
And
that's very true.
Yes.
Because sometimes, I mean, what can you do? You know, what can you do? Sometimes you may not have the evidence, and sometimes even if you take it to the cops and years have gone by, they're going to say, well, I can't do anything with it. Then that's another open wound. You know, well, they don't believe me, or they can't do anything about it.
Right. Wow.
But yeah, that's a good sign, being fearful, you know, being promiscuous.
Also, the child knows music without the parent begging and pleading, crying to go with the parent.
Girl, look, see, why she all up in my life? Okay, that was me as a little girl, y'all. Yeah. I would really, let me tell you, I gotta sit up straight for this one. I would, like, if my mom had to go to work, I would, like, pull on the curtains, or I was like, Mom. It was one time where I packed my lunch, and I hid in my mom's car. And when she got to work, she was like, what are you doing in here? And I said I wanted to go to work with her. I didn't want to be at home.
And she didn't think that was, like, out of ordinary?
No, she didn't think it was just, I guess, she just wanted to be around me. You know, even when I would grow up and I wanted to go to my grandparents, and I'll go over there for a little bit, but I wanted to go home because I felt like I had to protect my mom. I didn't want my mom to get hurt. So evidently I must have thought that she was getting abused too, because I was like, I don't want my mom to get hurt, so I'm going home with my mom and I'm about to be with my mama.
Wow.
Because she needs me.
That's good. So those are some good signs. And I didn't even think about what Harmony was saying, begging and pleading, like, why I mean, you're gonna be close to your parent, but you know, the extra clinginess and things like that. Yes, defiant behavior. Exactly. To get in trouble on purpose so the parent can't go to work. Yeah. Yes. That is so true. So true. That's why I said you can't you can't always shut people out because of what they're doing. You don't really know what's really going on, especially if it's a child. You really don't, because they don't know. They don't have the mental capacity to, not to say as an adult you do either, but especially as a child, to handle something so serious. So the only way they know how to do it is, so I'm just going to do what I think is the right thing. Yeah, to get your attention. And so a lot of children are crying out to adults. Yeah. And so, and I think I forgot to ask this, or we kind of talked about it in the middle as far as, okay, when did you say enough is enough? Like, I'm sick of this. I don't want to be, this abuse to be continue to affect my life. Or like I said in the beginning, survive means to continue to function or prosper, to live on despite of. So when did you finally say, okay, enough is enough? And what was that process like? Because people want to know, okay, this happened to her, now she's free. How did she get from point A to point B? Point A to point B.
Well, that's an easy question, people. This is what happened. Check 1, 2. Okay, let me get back to it. But it was one time he came in my room and he wanted me to go somewhere with him, so I went. I thought we were just going to the store, and he, wanted to mess with me, and I was like, no. I stood up and I said, no, you're not going to do this. You're like a father to me. You're not going to continue to do it. I had to take my authority. I had to look the person in their eyes who did it and tell them, no, this is not going to happen. And I also began to tell other people. So I began to have witnesses that if this happened or if something happened to me, then you know what's going on. And then, so when my mom heard about it and when I told her about it, I said, well, you can talk to this person because I told this person. Well, did she tell you that was going on? Yeah, she told me. Because sometimes it's easier to talk to other people.
He stopped warning me. Oh, wow. Okay. She's more than one man. Wow. That's one. Okay. Did you want to comment on her what she said? I think I got too old.
Yeah, okay. And sometimes they may want to go to someone else because you're going to begin to realize that this is wrong. So I want to go to the next prey, or not prey, but I want to go to the next victim who is frightful, who's timid, who don't know what's going on. They can't speak up.
So basically, they're bullying you. They're like a bully because ooh, geez, they bullying you. It's they can't. They're taking advantage of you. Yeah. Bullying. Wow. She said creative. Oh, Miss said creative voice.
Okay. Can we slide? Can we go back to it?
Oh no. Okay, creative voice to yourself and
paper trail or picture or video if you can. Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
So yeah, guys.
And sometimes you should put a camera in your room. Like, so if it's something that's happening daily or monthly or frequently, even you need some type of proof. And I was even telling someone that I know that you may need to do that. You may need to put a camera in your room, so you know what I mean. If this act do occur, then this is your proof. This is your physical proof. Because some people can say, well, I mean, you don't have no blood on your clothes, you don't have no evidence,
right?
You live with the person, or you talk to the person. So how is this going on? But like she said, you have to prosper. You have to still live. Life moves on. Right. So you can't just stay in that state of mind, buried with the covers over your head. No, I got to keep pushing. Right. I got to press forward.
Right. Moving forward. And yeah, technology, yes. Technology is amazing, and it's catching so many things, whether it's good or bad. Yeah. We need to use it for good. We need to use it for good. And so before we wrap up, and you may be someone who's being abused right now. Maybe you're an abuser, but I really want her to Jessica to speak to someone who's being abused right now, or if it's no longer happening, but you're not prospering, you're not surviving, you're not moving on, you're just you know how they say, are you living, are you existing? Yeah. Are you living or are you existing? So are you, whether you're an adult or teen, whoever you want to speak to, just what do you want to say to that teen or to that child, teen, whatever who they may be, if they're being abused right now and they're watching this broadcast?
Well, what I'll say, the first thing I'll say is to forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for holding it in and not telling anybody, or if you feel like it was too late. Forgive yourself, because sometimes we beat ourselves up so much, and that's how we can never get our healing. Or sometimes we may say, well, I ain't gonna say nothing no more. But you have to forgive yourself and begin to release it and give it to God. When you surrender all to God, He can begin to work and move through you. But if you are clogged up and you stopped up and you don't want Him to move, you don't want to be touched, then God can't do anything. Not saying that He's not there, but He can't move the way He wants to. God is a free God. So if you want to be free, you got to let it go. You have to let it go. You have to pray. You have to get in. Everyone is different. So what makes me free, or what makes me get into my place of worship, I worship God. Mm-hmm. I turn on my music. I worship God. I read my Bible. I speak the word. You have to begin to do that daily. That has to be your lifestyle.
Yeah. Oh, Candace, you read my mind. You read my mind.
And forgive the abuser.
You read my mind.
Yeah, and you have to forgive the abuser.
And they may not say they're sorry.
Yeah, they may not say
stuff
they're
is
sorry.
Going to happen.
Or they may say that they may still deny that it happened.
Right.
Oh, you lying. You ain't talking about nothing.
Right.
I don't know what you get out of here with all that.
Yeah.
But I forgive you. And I had to tell my person, I forgive you for what you did to me.
Right. Yeah. So
and he was like, okay. And he knew what he did. Mm-hmm. But, and then sometimes they may even try to pay you off, or, or try to, because they know that it's eating them up inside. So they may want to try to do something to tell you that, hey, I'm sorry.
Yep, they never admit to it, okay. And forgive even if you never get an apology.
Yeah.
Right. And I tell, even though I'm, having experienced this situation, but I'm just saying, anything that we go through, you have to move past it. You can't play the victim your whole life.
Yeah.
Because you're not getting anywhere. Like, what is me playing the victim gonna do? I'm not a survivor from a victim. You can't be a survivor and a victim at the same time.
Girl.
You can't be a survivor and a victim. You can't do it. You just can't. You just cannot, and you just can't. So you're going to have to choose. Am I going to be a victim? And that's just tough love right there. Are you going to be a victim? Or are you going to be a survivor? Whatever you're going through, I know we talk about sexual abuse, but this is for anything. Are you going to be a victim? Or are you going to be a survivor? So I'm going to choose to be a survivor. I'm going to choose to be a priest, girl. You cannot continue. And, yes, you went through this. Okay, but what are we going to do about it now? See, God already knows what you went through. He waiting on you to say, what you want me? Let's go beyond. Okay, this happened. What's to do next? Because I'm ready to move. I'm ready to do something with you so you can move past this and live the life that I want you to live.
Yes.
He don't want you to be fearful, and you can't be who God wanted you to be being a victim. Yeah. You got to be a victor. Victor, that's my word. You got to be a victor, not a victim. But I ain't gonna keep preaching. I ain't gonna keep preaching. But yeah. So it's just victor, not a victim. Survivor, not a victim. That's gonna be the message for tonight.
So
for the rest of your life.
Once you make that decision, then God will begin to put you on an assignment, and you'll begin to find your place. Because He may want you to be a deliverer for this type of thing. Ooh. You may never know what He used it for. What the enemy had for bad, it's gonna work out for your good. In spite of it, even though it may hurt, even though this is something that I don't want to talk about. Mom and Dad and them, they want me to cover it up. They don't want me, but you can't worry about the fear. You can't fear man. You can't worry about what they think, because there's somebody on the other side that needs your help. Right. They may be thinking about committing suicide.
Yes.
They may be thinking about, well, I had the tape right here in my hand, but mama now or cousin now or whoever, my teacher, go say, well, go try to get me kicked out for being disruptive. But you have the evidence. And they want to hide their hands and tell you what you can't do, but you have the proof.
Right.
So you got facts and you got the truth. So which one are you going to have? Which one are you going to choose?
Wow.
So for who's ever watching tonight, you have to make a decision. You have to make that decision for yourself. Because we can talk all day. We can tell you the facts. We can tell you how to move on from it. We can tell you go talk to God. But you have to make that decision.
Right.
And you have to be sincere about it.
Right. Do you guys have any questions? We could talk all night. We can. But do you guys have any questions for Jessica? And so I'm going to get her to share. I know she talked about her book a little in the beginning, but I want her to talk about other things she does in the community. She does. Look, y'all. I said she danced for God, so I want her to get her to talk about a little bit of stuff she do with that, and other things she might have going on, and where she can purchase the book that she has.
Okay. Well, like I said earlier, this is my book, Transparency in the Heavenly Realm, and you can get it from www.anointedjewels.com. Also, I have a dance company, and we're called Anointed Jewels, and what we do is we just get before God, we lay out in His presence, and we begin to let Him do the work in us. We're not going to be bound by limitations. We're not going to be bound by bondage or what's going on in our family. But we're just going to give it to God, and we're going to allow Him to tell His story through us in dancing. So, what's that?
No, I was as you were talking about the book, I was thinking about when I read the book, there was one scripture in here that I said, okay, just her putting this scripture in here changed my life. So I know the whole book is going to change your whole life. And it just talks about us having this great treasure inside of us. And so everything that goes on in our lives, we really still have to remember, and this is what's going to help you to survive, to learn how to be a survivor. You have to know who you are. You have to know who you are. You really have to know who you are. Even, we tell our kids, whether it's our son or daughter, how precious they are, all those things. That's the type of stuff we got to know as we go older. We get to know about how even more special we are. And then we need to get together for coffee, wine, lunch, steaks or something.
Okay.
Yes. Candace, you already know. Yeah, long time coming. But, so earthen, we have great treasures inside of us from 2 Corinthians 4:7. So, yeah, this book, yes. But like I said, you can purchase it on Amazon. I'm not Amazon. I'm sorry, y'all.
Girl, she's speaking it because we getting Amazon this year. It's 2017.
Yes, upgraded in 2017. But I'm going to let her continue talking. I had to
But yeah, you can get it from Anointed Jewels. And if you get it online, it's $18, but it's $15. If you're in the Memphis area, you can meet me. And you can get it for $15, and I'll drop it off to you. But if you get it online, if you have to get it delivered to you, it'll be $18. Wow. And again, you can get it at anointedjewels.com.
And did you want to tell them about the dance with the girls?
Yeah. Well, I have girls. Like I said, it's Anointed Jewels, and we get together. And the age group that I've started with is 7 and up. So if you want to enroll your daughter in that, you can email me at jmccracken427@gmail.com.
Thanks.
I got a little testimony going on. So the book is amazing. It's a must read. Thank you. But yeah, you can email me, or you can drop your email up under this link, and I can email you and give you a little more details about the dance.
That's good. So did you guys have any questions for her? Did y'all enjoy my guest today? I always love when people come on, and because I can talk my own self, but when I have somebody on here, I'm gonna talk even longer. So it's it's 7:49. Y'all let us talk this long? Oh my gosh! But it's 7:49. It's 7:49. Awesome. Thank you, Candace. But if you came in the middle, thank you for coming, watching the replay. Share it for anybody you think that may need this. It's just something that needs to be talked about. Even you enjoy. Thank you, Erica. And so, even now I'm continuing to learn about, this topic as well. So it's you just got to be educated. When you know better, you do better. Knowledge is power. Y'all know all the quotes about knowledge. So, our people are destroyed by a lack of knowledge. And so we gotta be more informed about what's going on in the world around us, and especially with our children, because they're our future. So we gotta take care of them. So I'm all about big youth advocate. So
Amen.
That's why I wanted to bring her on and let her talk and see if find this helpful. Share it with your family, friends, and you just never know who this is gonna touch. But I enjoyed you guys as well. I'm going to get ready to close. I don't want to keep y'all any long. We've been here almost an hour. I can't believe it. But survivor. Be a survivor, not a victim. No matter what it is, you are a survivor. You can say that every day. I am a survivor. We are survivors. Destiny Child, one of the only survivors. You are a survivor. You can move on. You can prosper. You can, despite of whatever is going on in your life. But we're going to close out before I go into a whole nother broadcast. Share it. And I'm going to continue. I'm going to go back to doing broadcasts weekly, what I used to do on Periscope. And so I'm thinking about doing it on Thursdays when May starts. So there'll be more guests, of course. And so I'm just excited. I'm excited. But thank you guys for tuning in. And we're going to go. And then talk about this broadcast when we end it. And so thank you guys for tuning in. See you later. Bye.